for the Heavyweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, in the blue corner, wearing red and weighing 250 pounds, this 1968 Olympic gold medalist has a professional record of 72 victories against 4 losses. 67 of those victories have come by way of knockouts, and his KO to win ratio is the greatest in heavyweight history. And tonight, he comes into this ring looking to add his name to another page of heavyweight history. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing from Houston, Texas, the challenger, the former heavyweight champion of the world, Big George Foreman. And across the ring in the red corner, wearing gold with red trim, weighing an even 222 pounds. This 2-time world champion brings a perfect professional record of 35-0, and 30 of his victories have come by way of knockouts. He is only the second man in the history of this sport to successfully step up from the World Light Heavyweight title to the World Heavyweight Championship. Tonight, he steps into this ring ready to put his perfect record on the line in his first heavyweight title defense. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, presenting the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Moore.
Michael, George, we went over the rules in the dressing room. Obey my commands at all times. Give me a good, clean fight, and bear one thing in mind. I'm the boss man in here. Take hands for luck.
Jim, a couple of weeks ago during those floods in Texas, George rescued his elderly parents and took his family to a shelter for the night. Is he on high ground or deep water tonight?
Maybe he thinks that's a target. That's one thing you can't miss.
There are a lot of targets.
Jim, both fighters' best punch is their jab.
One of the most effective ever in the sport. Still,
well, he's as quick as Moore is, and Moore can hook jab, and George can't.
Both men have landed early. You've seen Foreman's shorts before. They are the same trunks that he wore in the ring against Muhammad Ali, October 30, 1974 in Kinshasa, Zaire.
And there's that hook off the jab by Moore, and it landed solidly. And the way I always have my guys fight when they're fighting a southpaw is move to the right, and that's what George is doing. Right now, he's dictating the movement in the ring.
So Moore following Foreman as Foreman moves the left foot away from Moore's right jab and tries to stay away from Moore's left hand. Moore not working with the left much so far, jabbing and hooking with the right. Foreman
moving now. He could be moving right into that clubbing right hand of George. George's left eye is starting to swell already.
That eye swelled up so badly and covered from the beating Stewart gave him. George got
nice right hand. Guys out when they're real big men, like Mike the Giant White went 10 with him, Bone Crusher Smith went 10. So big men apparently do bother Michael Moore a little bit. Nice right hand counter by George Foreman. His
heavy contact for Foreman down the stretch of the first round. Moore landed a stinging jab as it came to a close. Angelo Dundee is identified as the cut man in Foreman's corner. You can see that they've greased up the left side of his face where the
George about that there when I interviewed him. Good left hand by Moore corner. So maybe he's going to compromise that way. But so far, he's reached all the way up to try to take care of it.
Something of a bar stool for the teetotaling preacher.
And again, Moore is moving to his left. And George's punches are not the fastest in the world. I think he'd be able to really do it.
Twice as high a rate. Lee hasn't landed one of those right hands from distance yet. Got one underneath in round one. Sharp right by Moore, who seems to be gaining close to throw that right hand lead. And now he moves back away. Foreman goes right hand to the body. Moore concentrating on the jab in this round.
Jab and hook. Good straight right hand by Big George Foreman.
Back Moore up. Good right hand by Moore. Solid right hand by Foreman. That time again from close range, he was able to throw the right hand lead.
I thought that was a pretty good round for George.
Eddie Atlas wanted Michael Moore to 2 rounds. He and Foreman have thrown equal.
Moore has scored a lot more with his jab and left and right hook, than George has.
Same thing he used to call Sugar Ray Leonard.
The opposite way.
Moving to his left.
Correct.
Atlas
Can really start putting some pressure on you. And as Larry mentioned, which is true, he's really put his will on Michael Moore.
landed at 1-2, and then Moore snaps his head back with 2 consecutive jabs. Imposing his will how, Gil?
Just keeping that pressure on, not getting rattled, got nailed in, couple of good solid punches.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that George can't do. He cannot hook off his that he's not doing the fighting.
We've begun to think of them as being so intertwined that they're almost the same person in there. Moore misses with the right but lands the left. Much quicker getting his punches away than George. That's no big surprise.
You can see Foreman loading up with that right hand. I'm surprised that Moore couldn't see it.
Well, I'm not sure he's worried about it, Gil. He's putting himself in positions where he'll take a lot of contact.
But he's not countering when George misses.
Solid left hand over the top by Moore. Backing Foreman up again. The heavy blows in that round were landed by the champion.
Big, strong man, but the speed, he doesn't have the hand speed or the snap in those punches.
There aren't going to be many of George's punches that Moore won't see coming.
See what he says, he's trying to slow the pace down. You keep a fast pace.
With the right hand lead, made possible by Moore's stand.
You know, this ring could have been 10 feet
Well,
square.
these guys fight. They both fight flat-footed. Nobody's doing too much side-to-side moving. Again, trying to move. You got a nice combination by George and an answer back from Mike.
At a pace and style which, in theory, ought to. But Moore continues to do pretty well, and that jab is really snapping George's head back now.
And again, you know, with George, a 45-year-old skin, he should start to mark up from the result of those.
Amazing, Gil. I watched George Foreman for 25 years, and 10 times that he's taken steps backward.
Clubbing you on the head.
Right hand. There's a straight right again. Left hook by Foreman. Right hand lead ought to work in theory for Foreman. You should say the same thing about the left hand lead for Moore. But he works so much behind the right hand, and so well.
You know what? I have Moore ahead 2 rounds, 1-1. 1 even.
My scorecard is very close to yours, Larry. I gave rounds and 1 to George, but the 1 round I could
Down the 45-year-old challenger.
maybe the other way around, the way George is moving those big ponderous arms now.
Moore is still standing right in front.
And again, you see George clubbing away with those big ponderous, and Moore now is fighting with his mouth open.
There are the right hands.
He's just out there fencing with George.
I think he thinks he's going to knock him out. I thought that he'll do it by standing in front of him and trading shots.
Move a big body.
He's making a lot of contact, though, Gil.
Now he finally...
Another one to the body.
If George was sitting...
There's that straight right hand again from George.
Certain as to how to try to lift Foreman.
Here's a good snapping jab from George.
And there are 2 right hands from Moore. Again, Moore goes back to the body, then comes back up to the head. I think if he keeps going to the body, Gil, he's going to pile the points up.
Hook, jabs, whatever you call them, quite as stiffly as that, Gil.
Well, you know, Mora is he's a strength where he should be using a little bit of movement and setting up George for those counters. You can just see George flat-footed, not moving.
Hurt Moore with, particularly from this range.
Snappy punches from George Foreman. Those punches had a little snap on them. Good right hand by George Foreman.
Showing some quickness.
That's exactly what, then he can set up that straight left hand.
Moore with uppercuts as the rounds progress. Moore allowing Foreman to land, and the big man is getting off to good effect in round 6.
Also getting hit with some pretty solid counters.
What the crowd is responding to is that George's blows appear to... Solid right hand by...
The battle of the jabs is being won by Michael Moore.
He finally threw a left cross there and almost landed it.
Good. That turkey is landing a few drumsticks right now.
And here's the definition of a...
And again, Moore winning the battle of the jabs.
Here comes the chance. So it made even more sense to be cautious against Foreman.
There was another example where Michael Moore was wide open for a right hand, but George couldn't let the punch go.
Leads to the body. Moore still jabbing and hooking.
A little movement to set George up. Nice straight right hand down the pipe by George.
Moore in.
Again, Moore lets George get away with that.
But Moore so far prefers throwing the right hand to the left. He counts.
Now Michael is moving to his right the way I really think he should.
I think the myth of George's power has been exposed by Michael Moore so far. I don't know who writes Teddy Atlas's scripts, but sign him up.
Yeah, I think Teddy's having another big night. 7 rounds in the books. Harold Letterman, how do you see it so far?
Jim, 6 rounds to 1. 6 still say boxing judges are impressed with guys that got snapped. Judge Foreman just too much pouring, and he's just throwing his shots too slow.
All right, at the end of Moore had found the key. He was moving to his right, and he was really picking George apart. He comes out this round, and he goes right. Have a big night if he can make Michael Moore do what he wants him to do. Big right hand. That's the best right hand of the fight by George Foreman.
And Moore was hurt by that right hand, and he backs into a stationary position against the ropes.
And a right uppercut by George. George knows he hurt him.
And now Moore.
One of a real no-no in boxing. I mean, that's one of the first things you learn. You never put your back flat against the ropes because you're a wide-open target, and you can't get any leverage on your own punches.
And when Michael backed up off that right hand by Foreman, he almost did it. You think Moore has fully recovered from that right hand now, Gil?
Yes, he has.
Question is whether George has recovered, because he's now trying to take a break, it looks like.
When Michael Moore moves to his right, one thing you have to give George credit for, though, is credit and will to win.
The early right hand by Foreman seemed to serve eventually as a wake-up call for Moore, who has come on to have a very... Uppercut by Moore blasted Foreman's chin backward. And George makes... opted out of the round that bedeviled him in Zaire 20 years ago.
Used to worry about his health, Gil. I'd stop worrying. Maybe I shouldn't.
Well, George hit with some hard punches because Michael Moore is really doing a good job. He's right on top of the action when he has to be, and he disappears when he should.
I think he's terrific. That sailed over Moore's head by Foreman.
Well, George did.
Foreman throwing fewer and fewer punches now, it seems, as rounds 8 and 9 have progressed.
Again, but anytime he makes any more effective, there he is again, just like a George, that he's fighting George's fight.
Much benefit from the feint, right? Up the middle, lancing blow there. Moore is still snapping George's. Right hand landed crowd, relatively quiet as round 9 comes to a close. It's scheduled for 12.
To use Teddy Atlas's metaphor, Moore kept the antique car in the driveway in that round by being active.
In round 9, George Foreman threw only 35 punches. His activity level dropping now. Earlier in the fight, he was routinely throwing between.
That's the one punch he's been able to score with. They just scored with it again.
Joe Cortez walked casually past Foreman and said, "George, don't do that." Right hand landed there, and another. And a right and a left, and suddenly Moore stopped punching, and it's Foreman's initiative.
And there's that competitive spirit of George is coming out again. He feels he's nailed Moore with a good punch, and he's a good finisher. He knows how to do it, but he's in with a tough
Moore. George is going to try to find a moment here to steal the crowd and get them psyched up. Stopped punching again. And takes jabs for his trouble. Foreman wading in to set up a left hook, and another left hook. And another left hook shot that missed.
in the young man's game. But look at that competitive spirit coming out now.
Straight right hand landing for Foreman. He's had a pretty good round here at number 10.
Again, Atlas didn't counter. Atlas, here we go again with the Atlas. Michael Moore is down.
Goes Moore on a right hand. An unbelievably close-in right hand shot. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It happened. It happened.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Here's a guy I said was a clubber.
You know, this was a 2-to-1 fight, but in my mind it was a gazillion to 1 that George Foreman could ever win the heavyweight championship again. This is a really remarkable achievement, and it has to stand on its own. We're in a show and tell medium, and show does it all.
So some of the old power was still there after all.
It sure fooled me. Didn't show it in the entire fight where it came from.
Well, we mentioned that he was having a strong round. He had set up some blows, and then that right hand anesthetized Michael Moore.
It sure did. And that's the one thing I said George couldn't do. He couldn't get you out with one punch. But boy, he sure fooled me and Michael Moore.
It landed right on the point of the chin, Gil.
Right on the button where it says good night.
You see the blood welling up behind Moore's lips as he momentarily went to sleep. The 68th man in 26 years to have fallen before the professional fury of George Foreman.